Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing all right. So I want to give another shout out to, I don't know if I gave him one, but I definitely, if I hadn't, and I need to give a shout out to Robert Cabral. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his last name. Again, just because I feel like he is one of the, to me, he's one of the better, if not the best dog trainer out there. And, as far as experience goes, I mean, he's a little older. He's an elder, so he's got experience as opposed to some of these younger cats. Even though some of these younger cats, like the no bad dogs guy, I think his name is Tom. I forget his last name. I'm sorry if I, assumed the wrong name too. But like this gentleman, Tom, who I think his name is, that's his whole thing is like no bad dogs. Like no, we can, that emphasis, that motto, that theme is beautiful, and I totally agree. Just I feel the same way with humans too. Like, I mean, not to say that there aren't bad humans, because I mean, that's I could see how some people could be on that far into the lower vibrational energetic spectrum. They could be classified as bad if all you're doing is trying to hurt other people. It's really hurt though. You're a hurt person. That's why hurt people hurt people. So I prefer to look at it in those terms rather than calling somebody evil or bad, even though I do this a lot and it's something I need to work on, because it just adds an extra amount of flair that really doesn't need to be there. It's not necessary. There's better ways of doing it without creating as much drama. And I think we can all hopefully all agree that there's plenty enough drama to go around, so why add to it? So that's something I need to work on. But anyway, so again, shout out to him, to Robert, and Tom, for what the work that you guys have done. But Robert, he replied to some comments that I left on his channel the other day, and he said that how like Tom, he's very rare. Like there's really, I guess, apparently from Robert, there's hardly anybody like Tom doing what Tom's doing, which is like kind of specializing in, dealing with very difficult, violent, dangerous dogs. And I haven't seen anybody use this idea, and it just came to me, and it makes perfect sense to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I can to integrate it into the project. So essentially, these are just prices for different dog suits, and they seem to range around the 1,500, give or a little bit less, a little bit more mark. So they're a little expensive, but I mean, I'm hoping that, I haven't seen these things tested, but I'm hoping that they'd be able to, and if they can't, then we need to find a type of protection suit that would literally protect somebody from being attacked by a violent dog, so that I could put this suit on and I could go out into an exposed open area with that potentially dangerous animal, and even if, which is likely to expect him to attack me, I don't know if you should expect it, but it's to something that should be potentially expected because you're dealing with a dangerous animal. If he did so, when he would do so, if he were to, that suit would be enough to keep me from developing any type of or sustaining any type of serious injury. Now, with that being said, like you're gonna have to deal with the pinching and the pressure. There's gonna be some bruises, and you might get knocked down, and you got to make sure you can't get to your throat. And yes, this is not for anybody. You need to be a very physically adept and strong human being, and you also need to make sure your energy doesn't get into the wrong places, because in those moments, what I've experienced with Little Bear is if I get too angry, he gets more angry. If I'm calmer, he gets more calm. So when you want to make sure you have a calm, strong, peaceful, tranquil dude who's also very physically fit and capable wearing that suit, okay, especially for the ones that are more volatile. The more volatile, the calmer the person. It's that simple. So essentially that's the idea, is you get them in these suits, and then so we could use a temporary animal sanctuary with cheap salvaged reused materials, which would serve as a quick remedy. But because animals' cells are just like human cells, and that they adapt and change to the environment around them, I think that they could even be more susceptible to energy. So you have to realize one of the reasons why I think there's so much sickness in cats and dogs, especially urbanized ones that are living in houses in the cities and all this types of shit, is because their cells are constantly absorbing all the toxic products, ingredients that are in today's modern societies. So they're just, and because they're accelerating, like they only live like, sometimes they get up to 15 years. If you know a dog that's 15 years old, that is an older dog. Like most dogs, probably don't get much past 10 years of age. So they don't live nearly as long as human beings. So it could be said that their bodies accelerate at a quicker rate than human beings. So like all this toxic shit, like it's bad for us, but it's even worse for them, and they're picking it up all the time. And then there's also just the stresses of the humans that they're around, like they're picking up all of that. The noises, like just living in these environments, being contained, if they're not getting enough time to walk and to smell, like all of these things go into how they feel each and every moment of their day. So developing, an animal sanctuary using the most, clean and eco-friendly, harmonious ingredients that we can is going to help perpetuate a better and healthier environment to produce a better and healthier, or to help rehabilitate a dog in the best way that we can. So I'd love to use hempcrete and hemp plastics and other eco-friendly, clean materials to develop the permanent animal sanctuary. And then you'd have just take time. Like for a very dangerous animal, you got to create a little area for him to go, and then you get the dude with the suit. He goes in there, and then maybe you and that dangerous animal with the suit, you go for an extended walk. You do that for a few weeks until you start to feel a little bit more comfortable with the animal, and you start to see the animals calm down a little bit. You do tests on them and stuff. Then you would introduce the next phase, which would be to bring in other dogs that have been trained specifically to deal with this situation, like Beckman has done. Shout out to Beckman for bringing this idea to the table. It's a great idea, because dogs especially are pack animals. So if they're starting to change their behaviors and then they get introduced to a pack that does things a certain way, I feel like it could be easy for them to just go along with the flow and just to join that pack, because they want to be a part of the pack. Like that's instinctually imbued into their genes and to their who they are, is to be a part of a pack. So if you can catch them while they're starting to change their behaviors, and you introduce them into a new good pack with a new good leader at the helm of that pack, then I'm hoping these are the types of situations and circumstances that perpetuate, true rehabilitation and growth. And you could turn a dog that is dangerous into one that's beautiful, loving, and protective. So, all right, I love you guys. I'll take care. Bye.